You know, this may sound very weird coming from a die-hard Arsenal fan on an Arsenal channel, but one of my favorite Premier League teams of all time, one of the teams I respect the most, was the Chelsea team that conceded 15 goals during the whole Premier League season, going on to win the Premier League. Honestly, that and the invincible record are unbeatable. And a reason I really admire that Chelsea team is because I am a big lover of good defense. And this season, while we may not have been the same quality as that Chelsea team defends the back, and I tweeted this during the game against Burnley, but we have been the best defense in the Premier League this season. We have only conceded 22 goals in the Premier League this season, 2 less than Liverpool, 4 less than Man City, and 19 less than Chelsea. We also have the most clean sheets in the Premier League with 10. We also have the least amount of conceded goals per game in the Premier League, and we are not getting nearly enough credit for it. So in today's video, I'll be explaining why we have the best defense and just what makes our defense so good. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Gunner Central here. I hope you guys are all doing well. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, before we get into how this defense has become the best defense in the Premier League, let me hit you with some more stats just in case you aren't all that convinced. We have the least amount of XG conceded with 18.4 all season long. Second least is Man City with 23.6, a whole 5.2 more than us. And the third most is Liverpool with 31.3, a whole 12.9 more than us. We have the third most wins of possession in midfield. We are joint second last in penalties conceded. We are last in saves per match, showing just how good our defense is at not allowing shots. And like I mentioned earlier, we are first in clean sheets and last in goals conceded. There, now you should be pretty convinced. When the season started, Arsenal made a move that brought tons of criticism to Arteta and Arsenal, and some of that criticism was from me. The move of bringing in David Raya to be our #1 keeper had the fan base divided. Ramsdale had proven more than capable of being able to play at a high level. Ramsdale was a good distributor of the ball, and he was loved all around the club by fans and players and coaches and what have you. And while I'm still not 1000% sold on the move, because as good as David Raya has been at times, he hasn't really done anything that Ramsdale can't do. And after a shaky start in the beginning of the season for Raya, he has picked it up since then, and he's starting to look more and more solid game by game. Raya's distribution is good. He commands the defense. He is better than Ramsdale at corners and crosses, and overall Raya has been a really solid keeper. But the crazy thing is, Raya hasn't really had to do all that much this season. A handful of games go by where Raya has to make maybe 1 or 2 saves, and then that's it. That's pretty much all he has to do. Some distribution here and there, but not much else. But believe it or not, that is more a testament to the defenders in front of Raya rather than Raya just being overall bad. And I think the most obvious reason to our rock solid defense this season is due to our centre-back partnership, arguably the best centre-back partnership in world football, Gabriel and William Saliba. And on top of being one of, if not the best centre-back partnerships in world football, is just how young they are. That's so impressive. Gabriel is just 26 years old, and William Saliba is just 22 years old. They are not even in their prime yet, not near it. And William Saliba is only 22 years old, looking like one of the best centre-backs, if not the best centre-back in the world. The way that these two manhandle strikers, Gabriel and Saliba, have a rare mix of raw strength, speed, a high level of football IQ, and just overall calmness and composure like that of a 32-year-old seasoned veteran defender. They have been rock solid as a partnership. They have been rock solid individually. And I mean, Gabriel has been goes well. I don't think it's a coincidence that since Saliba has been a starter for Arsenal, that we have been title challengers. And when Saliba got injured last season, we fell off a cliff and bottled our title hopes, slipping it away to Man City. Saliba is, in my opinion, the best centre-back in the world, if not at least a top 3 centre-back. And Gabriel, while I don't think he is as good as Saliba, he is certainly a top 5 to top 10 centre-back in the world, without a doubt. Gabriel is extremely good and aggressive and does a lot of the dirty work so Saliba doesn't have to. Gabriel and Saliba are the main reason why we have only conceded 22 goals in the Premier League. And while there are many other reasons, and I will get into that, Gabriel and Saliba have been the rock in our backline, and without a doubt in my mind, have been the main reason why we have been so good at the back. Another reason is that apart from really Zinchenko, our fullback core have all shown that they themselves are really high-level defenders. I mean, what's crazy is that Jurrien Timber has been out the whole season, and we have still looked good at fullback for most of the time. For all the stick and the hate that Ben White gets from other fans, from Arsenal fans, he has been really good this season. Apart from being pretty consistent this season, Ben White is a really solid right back. He is defensively so aware and isn't that easy to beat on a one-on-one. And while yes, he has had his rough patches this season, Ben White for the most part has been pretty superb this season and doesn't get nearly enough credit for his defensive output. Zinchenko again, while he can't defend to that high of a level and is probably suited to play more in midfield, his style of play in helping us hold the ball, control the game, helps us in not conceding and not giving chances to the opposition. Kiwior, now despite his rough patches at the end of December and beginning of January, Kiwior has looked pretty good and serviceable this season. Now when we talk about Kiwior, you must remember he is not a left back, but having to play him there because of injury or what have you, he has looked pretty good outside of a handful of games. Especially recently, he has looked super great defensively. And although he isn't that great offensively as a left back, understandable due to the fact that he is a natural centre back, and I still think Kiwior should be played as centre back when everyone is fit and healthy, his quality on the defensive end more than makes up for his lack of attacking threat. Another reason is just how good we have been at defending set pieces. Now set pieces have been our not so secret weapon this season, and while we have been amazing at scoring from set pieces, having scored 17 goals from set pieces out of our overall 58 goals scored this season, I don't think it has been talked about enough at just how great we have been at defending set pieces last season and this season. Now we have conceded a goal from the odd set piece here or there, but for the most part we handle defensive corners and defensive set pieces extremely well and never seem to really make many mistakes from them. This part of defending is a rarely overlooked part about defense from fans all over the world. If you can't defend set pieces in the Premier League, you will struggle. And every good defense is extremely good at defending set pieces, and we are just another good defense, very good at defending set pieces. Another reason is how we are able to defend as a unit. Like I mentioned earlier, we are third in the most amounts of times possession has been won in the midfield. And that reason is because of how we defend as a unit off the ball, and at the same time it emphasizes just how good Declan Rice has been for us defensively. When we are off the ball as a team, we sit kind of in a tight and disciplined 4-4-2, or sometimes it's a 4-4-1-1, and it makes us extremely hard to break down and for other teams to find any sort of success passing through us. And when we are not sitting in that 4-4-2, we are pressing the life out of teams. A lot of times that we steal the ball and win possession is because we press the team into making a mistake, we squeeze the life out of them, and we do that so well as a unit. And again, this can only happen when the team defends as a unit and everyone presses together. And every player, no matter who you are, works hard off the ball and remains disciplined off the ball, which is a huge reason as to why we have been so good defensively. And the last reason we're going to talk about today is the pride that this team takes in keeping a clean sheet. Something brought a huge smile to my face at the end of the game, and it wasn't the fact that we won 6-0, even though that may have been part of it. When we were already 6-0 up and the game was almost over, we blocked a shot, or we just, blocked a pass or something, and it went out for a corner. And our defense celebrated like we had just scored a goal. The pride in this defense and this team to want to keep a clean sheet is second to none. And that is a huge part and a huge reason why we are so good defensively. Gabriel and Saliba can have the perfect game. We can win 6-1, but if our defense doesn't keep a clean sheet, you can see the visible frustration on every single player. I mean, if you think back to that Forest game, where we beat Forest 2-1, Zinchenko and Ben White had so many more reasons why our defense is the best in the league. best in the world, but I'm not going to be telling you them all today because that will be a 3-hour long video, and I think I've said more than enough for you to kind of get why our defense is just so good and unbeatable at times. So yeah, that's the video. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about Arsenal's defense? Are we better than last season? Is Gabriel and Saliba the best centre-back partnership in the world? Let me know in the comments below. Please be sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.